Hi, welcome to the Stockinit Zombies. I'm Amy, also known as Janitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run Knit. And this is episode 194.
Getting close to 200.
We are. We had a little bit of a delay here in the last couple of weeks, but I thought perhaps we would hit like 200 around the new year. I don't know. I think there's less than 6 weeks now, though, until the end of the year. Isn't that crazy?
Don't say that.
Crazy for being.
Yeah, I gotta get a formal invitation out for my son's birthday party.
Oh dear.
It's not really a party, it's just a sleepover with one, maybe two friends. But I have yet to create the invitation, so gotta make that official.
Speaking of birthday parties, since we last recorded, we had the zombie birthday party in Stillwater, which was fantastic. I was ill, and I hope that I didn't get too many other people ill, but it was the beginning of a long stretch of illness. Not to get too negative, but I had lost my voice, and then once my voice came back, I just had this horrible cough. So yeah, last week was not spent traveling for work. Instead, I was at home coughing because I didn't want to share my fun germs with people trapped in a car with me. So, but yeah, darn it anyway. It was awesome to be in the
Classroom.
The classroom had lots of space to spread out. We went to, what was the restaurant that we went to for lunch? The Green Room for lunch. And then we went back to the American and hung out there. We had a nice room there that we kind of, off of the lobby that we rented, which was fun. I got a lot of fude knitting done. Got a lot of chatting. I met some really nice folks.
Yep.
And I did not get my shop on. No. And that would have been a nice quiet thing that I could have done that wouldn't it caused my voice stress.
I didn't bring home any of the things that I bought, so
I brought the gifts to show off.
Thank
got.
you.
Yes,
I did
not. But yeah, they offered us a very generous discount. So thanks to Amy and Darn It Anyway for hosting us and giving us a discount because it was awesome. But yes, very restful, very restful, and as much restful as you can get when you stay up really late talking and you have no voice. But it was nice to be able to get a community together and not have to do a huge amount of organization. That's what I look forward to.
Yep. Maybe try to put it in my calendar to get on that a little earlier next year. But people started asking me about it, and then I was like, oh yeah, I need to get that lined up.
Yeah. The year has snuck up.
It really has. I am feeling the end of the year like, oh my gosh, so many vacations, so many things to get, have everything else fit around. And then before you know it, it's here. Like, we had to order some presents for my son, and we were talking today, and it's like they haven't shipped yet. I'm like, what? We're running out of time. They need to ship soon. If they're going to get here before the big day.
Yeah, you kind of have the opposite of what I do. Like, all of my birthdays in my family are April, May, June, and July, and yours are kind of December, January, right?
Yes, they are November and January, and Christmas is in the middle. So I have a lot going on.
Yep.
Did not plan that very good.
As much as you can plan it.
Yeah, exactly. The one child was supposed to be a March baby. Shame on her.
Came early. So excited. I was trying to think of if I had anything other than now recovering. I still feel like I'm kind of gravelly when I talk, but other than that, the coughing has subsided, which is good.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting something in my sinuses. I will have to wait and see.
Yeah, there's a lot of people around me that are at home sick.
I don't know. I'm kind of tired today, but I think that's the Dirty 30 talking. It's 30 reps of a lot of exercises that start with box jumps and end with double unders or single jump rope. And burpees are in there somewhere. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Tired.
Yeah.
Getting closer to our pull-up challenge.
That's
nearing completion. I was thinking about it the other day because I've actually, you know how you were talking about like lowering yourself down slowly kind of helps when you can't actually do a pull-up, and I've been doing the opposite, like with push-ups, like slowly lowering myself down and doing like the plank and trying to see how long I could do it. And a minute is a really long time when you're trying to plank.
Yeah.
Like I keep looking down on the thing and I'm like, is that working? Like, how is that possible that it's only been like 20 seconds? Is that working? On my phone.
Yes and no. I can do a handstand now, but against the wall. Like balance isn't perfect, but I can at least keep my hands solid. And then I am really close if you count kipping, which is where it's a gymnastics movement where you swing and kind of use your momentum. So it is, it takes a lot of the body weight out of the equation.
Got it, because you're swinging.
Yeah. But the strict, no. I think that if if they lined up all the bands and they said that you could kind of use your knees to kind of help you get the extra thing, but still using the bands. I've gone down bands so that I can get one accomplished without much band help. So I think I'm on a blue, which I have no idea how much weight that counteracts. But if I lost that much weight, I could do one, right?
Yep. Yeah, I haven't tried one in a really long time. I just know the last time I tried, it was like, well, this is impossible. Because I don't have the fancy bands and stuff, so.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah. I'll have to, like the last Wednesday of the month, which is next Wednesday, I believe, I'm allowed to bring a friend into the gym. So maybe we could just go in there and do our pull-up challenge with each other.
Okay.
Or I could just ask the owners if they'd let me sneak in for just a pull-up challenge.
I have a pull-up bar in the basement. I might have to like slalom a bunch of bikes and brewing equipment and whatever. But
no, but they would have the bands, and we could
I see.
We could see like where you are. Like, okay, which band, which kind of helper do you need to make it happen, and go from there. Anyway. Yeah.
All that to say
that we are not there yet, and we only have, you said, less than 6 weeks ago.
I am a pull-up challenge loser. But I am going to finish the Hito Fude challenge, so.
Yeah. What's important here?
Well, I often find myself, like, Ellie and I went for a walk, and it got dark, so it's been getting dark so early. It's killing me. But yeah, just thinking, like, all this time I'm sitting here knitting, I could probably be up and doing something, right? Like, active. When I was doing the adventure walk socks, I was getting a lot of active, because I was also knitting. Two things.
Yeah, I was thinking that my kids haven't been on a lot of adventure walks, and I have a feeling that,
the key to adventure walks is random rewards.
Okay.
So sometimes we go do things and get to go like get a pastry at Panera, and other times you just walk. And so they don't know, right? Like they don't only go for the reward because they don't always get their reward. It's basic psychology.
I'm just thinking we would get to a certain point in it and they'd be like, can we turn around and go home now? Like yours seemed to go far and wide.
Yeah.
Ours would be smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. We do live within walking distance of a lot of things. But yeah, Dexter always tries to finagle the, let's go do the fun thing and then call Daddy and have him pick us up. Because he's a smart one, that Dexter. But we have no administrati. So other than our babbling there, no administrati to be administrated. We are, and I am enjoying the online dance party, birthday dance party.
That is fun.
Love all of those, and I'm unless a better song comes along, that Megan Trainor Better When I'm Dancing has to be our dance by video next year. Yeah, I think it's just settled unless a better one comes around.
Yeah.
And then it made me really think, like, I really love the Peanuts, and they do have, like, those impromptu dance parties in the middle of the episodes, right? Like, where they all get do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I watched the Peanuts movie, and it was just so sad for the majority. Yeah, the whole thing was so sad. I mean, it had a happy ending, but that Charlie, he's a sad dude. He does not think highly of himself.
Yeah, he's not cumbersome. He's downtrodden.
Yeah. He just
melancholy.
Melancholy, yeah. Well, it was all about the redheaded girl and him feeling too shy and not feeling good enough to approach her, and what could he do to impress her, and he was always failing at the things he wanted to do to impress her. But it worked out in the end, but it was a long, wow, I hope that, my kids don't feel like a Charlie Brown, because Charlie Brown's pretty down on himself a lot.
Yeah. I was thinking it might be fun to take a half day on Friday and go see the last of the Hunger Games.
You know who I need my kids to be? Peppermint Patty. Confidence that girl has.
Yeah. Ellie's got confidence in spades.
Well, I want him to be smarter than Peppermint Patty. Don't get me wrong. But the confidence, she's got it. Spades.
Awesome.
Yes. So,
finished objects.
Yes.
Dun dun dun.
So, I don't know if I brought them, but I finished two little minis. Now I know I didn't bring them. Two little minis, a unicorn and a gnome, and I was excited about that. Shared one of them on Instagram. So those are cute.
So pretty.
And then I became one of the sheeple.
The Babel hat.
And made a Babel hat, because I am sheeple.
What is that from? Or did you just come up with it?
Wake up, sheeple! No, when you're following... Oh, I don't know what that's a quote from, but I know that there's a movie or a TV show that says, wake up, sheeple!
Okie doke. I don't know that reference. But I do understand what you're saying. Internets.
Yeah.
You could probably Google it. Come on.
But, yeah, they're like, they're like, wake up, sheeple, be your own person, or whatever, So it's about being one of the flock, I guess. And so we are sheeple. Making the same hat. But it's a very,
there's lots of them.
Yeah, but it's a very cute hat and it's free. Free pattern. How can you not love that? I found this Kenzie on the bargain bin. So it says on here that it normally sells for at least $10, but it was on the half price, and then I had additional price off. There's two stickers on here, so I'm kind of wondering if it went up or down in price first.
Investigatory.
I know. Like, I didn't know that there were two stickers on here. Yeah, it went up in price.
That's like when you get one of those, well, mine were different.
Yeah.
Peel off.
Yeah. Different. So at one point it was $9.50. But then
really like that green.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And the blue. I like it all. And so that's all the same base?
Yep.
That meets my criterion, my OCD criterion.
Yeah, so all of the same base, and it worked out that they had everything that I would need to make a Babel hat. And I like my Babel hat.
I like it a lot. I would struggle with having a white or a black. I have blues and greens coming out of every orifice of my stash.
But your stash has orifice.
It does. It does.
Orifices.
Orifici. I like that word. But yeah, the blue or the black and the white, not so much.
It's not blocked yet, so I'm feeling the need to pick some stitches.
I'm seeing that. Super lovely.
But yeah, I like the bright green, and it's kind of what I pictured my Babel hat looking like, or Babel hat.
Bab. They say ba, right?
Ba.
Are you gonna put a pom pom on it?
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't put one. I was going to weigh my balls.
Okay.
Yes. Very private moment. I'm gonna weigh the balls and see if I have enough in what colors to make the pom pom and still make 3 hats, because I bought in ratios that I thought would get me more than 1 hat, and I was looking at it and it might get me 3 hats, and so I want to make sure that I have enough to actually get 3 hats.
To have the matching hats.
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna make them. Like, this one is a little big, as many people have commented on.
What's the stitch repeat? Is there to eliminate a repeat? Would it be way
it's
too
quarter of the hat?
Oh, okay.
And I'm not even sure if that's an exact repeat. I just know that the sheep, there's 4 of the different kinds, and
so you'd have to go down like yarns and needle size.
Yeah,
if
so
you wanted it smaller.
So I was just thinking of doing a tighter, so just going down needle sizes with this same yarn, and I thought that actually would work quite nicely. So I'm gonna try that for the next one. And it was a fun hat pattern, and it was super quick. I think I felt like I spent more time on the brim because that was the boring part, because it's got a fold over and it's 24 rounds.
Colorwork can be addicting.
Yes. So that's that. And again, there's yarn to do 2 more. You're right, I need a pom-pom. So I forgot to make one.
If you're gonna try to make as many as you possibly can, though, that makes sense that you would make them and then just make whatever you've got left over into the pom-poms, right?
Yep. So then I have my coop knits with me, but we can talk about that when we review the book.
Woot woot.
Oh, and I guess I brought the kits, but I don't have the little guys. My gnome kit, my unicorn kit, and then I started an owl kit. But that's not finished objects. What am I doing? I did finish some of those. I just didn't bring them to show. Not that you would be able to see them that bad.
Were they assimilated into the herd?
They were. They were. I took pictures of them, and then I was like, oh, where did they go? So I gotta figure out where I put them. So this is my Nanny Swimo. It's a Oshima. It's a Jared Flood pattern. Well, actually, it's a Brooklyn Tweed pattern. I'm not sure if it's Jared Flood.
Yeah, I think it might be a Michelle Long, right?
Yeah. Like, I'm not sure.
Fact checkers.
Darn it. Okay. So,
it looks like a fit. I was asserting that it was going to be too big, but it looked like it fit him quite well in the photo.
Yes, but I will say that was with adjustments.
Okay.
So, fresh off the needles, you can, so this is what it's like, and on Instagram you can see it on my husband, and you can see it looks decent, it looks well proportioned, but let us fold in the middle and show you how much this thing can grow. So, This can be a really wide sweater. So it was blocked to be long and skinny. And then, additionally, I ran some leftover yarn back and forth on the top of the shoulder. So,
good idea.
So like on the back detailing, this is really, really nice shaping. I love that. But the top can grow so much that the shoulder, as you wear the garment, can creep down and just grow, right? It's not like it's coming off your shoulder flash dance style. It's just growing. And so the shoulder can go from being on your shoulder down to like a drop sleeve. And so straight off the needles, that's kind of what it looked like. Wah, wah. But blocking it straight, had him try it on again, and then I zhuzhed the shoulders manually and kind of liked how that looked. So then I went back in, and so you can kind of feel that there's some added tension where I put that.
Almost like a gather, right?
Like a gather, yeah. And actually this one looks like it might be less gathered than I wanted it to be, so it might have to get regathered. And then on this side as well.
But the hubby loves it?
Yeah, it's fitting and it seems to be working out. So
it's always a rave review when they're, oh, it fits.
Well, and oh, what did I want to say? Like, and he didn't take it off immediately after the picture. Well, so that was another indication.
Resounding success.
Yeah.
When the kids are like, yeah, Mom, thanks, and then they immediately come off. Yeah, that's a little disheartening.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
So, yeah. So Nanny's Sweepo in the books.
Woot woot. It's like the 16th?
Yeah, 17th. I got this done like 3 days ago. I just had to block and make it fit my husband for the next 3 days.
That sounds like it was quite the task.
Yes, it was.
Pattern was good? Like the yarn?
Pattern and yarn were not a made in heaven match because of all of the different stretching and fitting issues. But I'm not sure that knitting this with the yarn that it was called for would have been similar. I think that you need to go down a needle size. I don't think that the recommended needle size and gauge is actually what you should do. I think that it ends up being wider than what you think it's going to be as you're working on it. And as everybody can attest, you know, they saw me working on it and you saw the disappointment in my face every time I looked at it.
And me going like, your husband's like kind of my size and your size. How is that going to fit him? But it was because it was on the needles and it wasn't gathered, right?
Right.
And it wasn't elongated. It was wide.
Yeah, and you saw in the pictures, I mean, that's how he wears his sweaters. So it fit him the way he likes them. He would have
ease.
Yeah. It wouldn't have and I several times held up one of the sweaters that he loves. I even took pictures of it in progress, right? Like, look, it's the same size.
Because I was a bad knitting friend and was like freaking her out.
Yes.
I was like, Amy, are you sure?
No, my husband's like a 30-some inch around, but really wants 44.
Yeah.
Because, you know, 8 inches of positive ease is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or 6 to 8 inches of positive ease. I think that the sleeves ended up being a little long on him, but it's just okay. You know, it didn't look too big. And then if he's feeling a little cold, he could bring him down if he needs to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that since brioche grows so much, and this is supposed to be such a structured look on top, you either have to have it already stretched and blocked out and have that be the width that it should be, or you need to gather, because I don't think that as written this...
Did they have a brioche gauge written?
I
was gonna say, did you need to go down quite a few needle sizes on the brioche?
I mean, in the pattern they had you going down a couple sizes, and I stuck with that. And I was very tempted when we thought it was too big to rip out and do different sizes, but then my sleeves would have a different gauge than the body. And I thought that the sleeves looked like an okay gauge, as far as fabric goes. So I just kept going. Trust. But yeah, this is definitely, I don't know, I just feel like with the way the brioche is set up, it can grow quite a bit as you're wearing the garment. So I think that you either need the brioche to be more of an athletic fit, with like raglans in it, or you needed it to be a drop shoulder, because if you're trying to get it to be one that sits on your shoulder all day long and connects in the set-in sleeve, I don't think you can have a piece right here that grows.
How does the male one differ from the female? Is it similar construction? Oh no, it's got a big like funnel neck, doesn't it?
It probably does. I bought the boy one, so I don't remember what the girl one really looks like.
Okay. Yeah, I think I favorited that when that first came out, and I think it does have a big neck, but that wouldn't help with. I guess it would. It would make it more of like a amorphous blob up here versus like a really structured on your shoulder type look.
Yeah, and this is definitely set-in sleeves, and you have this that goes over the top. You're sewing front to back. The bottom's knit in the round, but the tops are separated and sewn together. I enjoyed the knit immensely. It did end up in a usable garment. There are things that I would have changed along the way besides doing the afterthought fixing, if I had known. So,
then what I know now,
I would say that the way it fits my husband now and the way it looked when we took the picture, I think that the solutions I had were good, because then all the ease stayed the same. You do want this top to look bigger than the bottom because of that, ideal V, proportional ideal V. It's like a back upside down triangle. That's the shape that men usually want to look at or look like.
Bigger, broader shoulders.
Yeah. And I left this in because I wanted to make sure that the neck wasn't going to grow too much, and I might have to go way down on the neck just to make sure that it doesn't. And I still might. It kind of needed to be zhuzhed after he put it on. So I think that the collar might need to be reknit with smaller needle sizes. Just to make sure that I'm keeping it, again, trying to keep it tight and not start to grow into this.
Yeah. It's funny, I used to pshaw at going down on needle sizes, and then I wear things like this and they flip off, and I was like, if I had gone down a needle size, I might not be doing that right now.
Yeah.
You live, you learn. That whole if I knew then what I know now thing.
Yeah. For sure. But yes, it straight off the needles was too big. But I did measure and remeasure to his favorite sweaters. I think it was just a construction issue. Like when you have the seam back here, this top piece can just grow and go along the side and just look like, I don't know. Yeah.
Brioche is a stretchy beast.
It is, and it needed to be handled, manhandled, or whatever. So, again, my tip was to make sure that this was structured and seamed, even though it wasn't. So I had to add that gather in to make sure that the distance between the top of his shoulder and the neck were solid and not going to grow.
It's a smart thing to do, because brioche allows you to do that, because there's always that yarn traveling, so you can kind of go through the fabric that was created.
Yep. It was very
if it were stockinette, you would see it, right? You couldn't just run
you could do the gathering that most people do, is you do a duplicate stitch.
And make it a little tighter.
And then make it a little tighter, or just completely tighten that stitch away. And so you could take that row and make it completely disappear by doing a duplicate stitch and pulling. And if that, it'll look like you have a seam where there wasn't a seam before. So if you didn't know that, you know it now. So.
Cool. All right. I had a few things jump on and off the needles. So I had that Infinite Twist Helix mini gradients kit that Kate from Infinite Twist had sent, and just absolutely love how it knit up. It's very like it's got a ripple to it. Like, it goes from that dark to the light, and then the dark to the light, and it's almost like waves crashing. They get a little closer together as they get closer to the shore. And it was fun too. I mean, you have to be okay with weaving in ends or leaving knots in. There was a lot of ends to weave in, but I love me some green, so this is just my heart's desire. And she's going to be putting up some kits with this. I have a special, this yarn, it's got a lot of twists, so it knits up to a bigger gauge. So it's like 5 stitches per inch versus 6 stitches per inch. And she had a test knitter that knit up and didn't get to any of the end section, and it didn't get as big as it was written up to be. I think it got to like the there-ish. And so it's got a bigger needle size and a different gauge, but then you can knit it per that, and it's a special edition that'll go out with those kits. And she's got a really pretty like red one that she's doing right now. And I guess I didn't realize how hard it is to photograph red.
It really is. Like,
apparently I haven't knit enough red things that were like a true like bluey red, because she's having a dickens of a time capturing her banner day. Did I mention this was a banner day? I probably didn't. And I've had dickens of a time with my Hito Fude, and then she's got like a plummy one that she's dyed up as well, and it's super. I mean, so they are truly mini gradient skeins in there, and I just love it. Love it. It's so fun. I like the way it washed up. Okay. And then I, for Nanny Swimo, just bound off the bottom of November's Hito Fude. So I did the sleeves at the birthday party, and then came back and did some design work, and then was like, I gotta get this finished. So I wrapped her up. This is, so you've seen the other ones that are pre-blocking, and this is what it looks like pre-blocking. It kind of freaks you out a little bit because this looks really short, because it does get very wide, and so it's kind of an optical illusion. But with all of these lace repeats, as well as the deepness of the sleeves, it does get very long. See how long it can get? And I generally block them lengthwise, kind of like you were saying with yours. You didn't make it wide, you did it lengthwise. And this is out of Miss Babs Katahdin in the, I have it here. Why am I, look at how much is left. That's the thing that gets me. This is the, why can't I see it, colorway, Scarlet Letter. I knew that. I was thinking of today. So yeah, almost 70,000 stitches in this bad boy. Spreadsheets for the win. Put that in there, and it's really easy to count your rows because there's a stitch, the stitch pattern has a number of rows, and I know how many repeats I did in the sleeves, as well as the way that I do the bottom. I do 4 of an 8-row repeat, and 4 of a 10-row repeat, and 4 of a 12-row repeat, and very easy to calculate. Probably easier than my flax that I did last year for Jeremy, for Nanny's Swimo. So one more, and I think the next one is going to be so much fun with that Noro. I don't know if I'm going to wait until December to cast that on. Probably should, since I'll see my aunt over the holidays, over the Thanksgiving holidays. And she might be like, what's that?
Yes, especially since the colors are her colors, right?
Yes.
Like, ooh,
yep.
ooh, that's pretty.
And I'll be like, yes, it is. And you know, people ask you who things are for and whatnot. But yeah, the Katahdin is a good choice for that. I was also seeing that the Loopy, you had some lace garn skeins that would have been really good as well. Similar light fingering. Lace garn is labeled as a lace, but it's a similar similar weight as the Katahdin, which is the light fingering. I think it's a similar yardage per number of grams as well. But and then I had some Colorwork jump on to the needles, and I have been knitting so many fingering weight garments and socks and whatnot that I had forgotten how quickly things worsted and DK knit up. And so I have another design that I'm working on that I can't show you, but I kind of gotten frustrated with it, and I was like, well, I need to write these up, and I want to do something around the holidays with giving the pattern away for free, and I've got test knitters already lined up, and so I just needed to chart it, because the thumb I had included in the first time that I had charted it and written it up was kind of an afterthought one, so very little gusset. And as I was wearing my other ones that had an afterthought one, and so I have kind of two jackets, and one pair had the afterthought thumb hole in it, and the other one had the gusseted thumb hole in it, and I liked the gusseted one much better. So just had to move it down. But I finished these up. I love the decreases. They're kind of, one is the V's going up and the other is the V's going down. And yeah, I don't know if I have a lot more to say about that. It's I'm knitting the hat with the pattern that's probably going to get written up here sooner than later as well. The purple here is Leading Man Fiber Arts in the Royalty colorway, very fitting. It's kind of a tonal purple. I don't know if you saw that when I held it up or not. And then I had a coordinating variegated that went with it, and I'm really learning that my taste in coordinating variegateds, they're too matchy-matchy. It would be good to knit a garment with a band. But for color work, it looks like a mistake, because some of that color flashes in the variegated section, and it looks like you've accidentally mixed a purple in the middle of one of the things, you know, like it just didn't look quite right. And so I had this Jill Draper Make Stuff in the Wyndham, which is her, it's a worsted weight, and this is the Dramaturg from Leading Man Fiber Arts, but they're pretty similar, 250 and 220 yards. For 115-ish grams, so they're similar. I mean, you can tell that the in this colorway was what bottle. That the yellowy parts are kind of thicker, but makes a nice sturdy mitt. And apparently, I love mixing in this yellowish color with things, because the other ones I have were out of Sun Valley Fibers DK. And it's like her peacock, and I can't remember what the yellow was, but same yellowy. And I do love purple, and I guess
it wasn't the aliens, or is that a lot brighter?
I don't know if it was aliens. It was like tequila or something. I remember now, peacock tequila or peacock margarita. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But yes. Mittens, and it's been freakishly warm.
I know, it really has been.
So I've been like, oh, I got mittens, and I'm like, I can't wear them. It's too warm. It's too warm. So yeah, if you had volunteered last year, I gotten this kind of semi-written up closer to spring, and decided to hold off and do it for a better season. I've still got your information, and I'll be sending that out shortly, hopefully.
I have my color combo ready for when you write up the beach please.
So. Oh, okay, yep, that's coming too. I gotta finish this other one that's giving me fits first, though.
Oh,
so
you do.
I do.
We have ideas, though.
Yes.
We bounced a few more ideas, and I like it.
It's gonna do. It'll look good. It'll do good. And that was 2 weeks worth of knitting.
Okay.
Whew.
I have a flax on the needle. This will be for my son. It looks really tiny on the needles, but you hold it up and you judged and
green,
and it could fit me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a skinny guy. So, so this is the MB colorway, Leading Men Fiber Arts box office.
So
and
pretty.
Yeah, the Tink Head Knits Flax, which is a free pattern. And yeah, it's zooming. I'm enjoying it, and it'll probably fly off the needles as well.
So pretty. I mean, that's why I love this purple too, the kind of overtone and undertone, and it just really gives it a depth. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes. And then back here. I'm like, not sure where my other fit to show things went, but I've been working on the slide, and I added a few inches to that.
We had a moment where we thought maybe we had lost the slide.
Yes. Like, oh, is it in the car? Oh, yes, it's in the car. Thank goodness. Yeah.
You know that you are truly a knitter when you text your friend and be like, let me know when you find that, because it's really bothering me. Well, it's kind of striping. That's fun.
Yeah. It is at the right revolutions, and it is striping. So hopefully I can do that on the second one. That's always the problem.
Well, then you know whether or not your gauge matches, right?
This is true. This is true. Husband tried this on, and it seemed to be a little bit of a tight around the...
Can you suck it in on your feet?
So I think what we're going to do, or I'm going to do, is that I'm just going to get to the heel flap, and make sure that it's growing. Get it past there by a good margin, and try it on again. And if it really doesn't fit him, they're my socks, and we will cast on a different pair for him. Probably the same pattern, because I'm enjoying it, in just going up a size.
That ribbing, you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, my husband really likes his.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't mind. I mean, it's mindless, even for being ribbing. You're only working the pattern on one side of it, especially if you're working with 2 circulars. You're only working the change on one set of circulars. The other set stays the same. So you can know, like, oh, I'm at the beginning of the round. I can just go. I don't have to think. And then it's simple enough that you can just look at the beginning of the round and know exactly what you need to do to the end. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. That's Cookie A pattern called Slide. It's very basic, but sometimes basic can wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm enjoying that one. I'm making minis. I'm making flags for the retreat. I am wanting to do the mother-daughter KAL, so I have a Chance of Snow for my daughter, which is called Spun Sugar, I think. That's what they call it. The little girl version is called Spun Sugar. And well, I don't know, there's a lot of needle adjacent always, on my mind.
You're always
I really want to get back to my shawl. The one from Skano.
Mm-hmm.
I really do want to get back to that. And I know that if I give the Vacillate, a good solid week of monogamy, it'll be good to go. But I just can't make myself go there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on things for other people. So it seems like that's what I'm drawn to right now, knitting for others. So I have
I can relate.
Socks for the husband, maybe me, but the intention was to be for him. And then I want to at least get past that heel, and if I find out they're for me, I'll probably stop working on them and switch to something else. So yeah, son's sweater, daughter's sweater, and then I will be good to go back to being selfish, I guess.
Look at you.
But that's it. I have some enabling that I can talk about right this moment.
Okay, I have the only thing that is fit to be shown. As I mentioned, I have a couple of designs that I'm working on. My sister's hat and a design for a kit that has not been announced, but will be forthcoming. And I just cast this on so that I would have something to knit on air as we talked, but it's that same Wonder Wander mitts, so the motif is going to be the same. But I had leftover yarn. I'm making this one. It's kind of a weir hat because I have a smaller head, and I have dwindling amounts of the purple left, but still quite a bit. But Colorwork eats up yardage because you're using both, but it's also very warm. And so, yeah, I think I might redo the decreases on this. I didn't like the way the original hat that I had knit up out of the Sun Valley looked. It's a little shallow and a little wide, and then as I mentioned, I didn't like the decreases. They weren't all nice and pretty either.
Okay.
So redoing that, yeah, and then lots of Colorwork wants to jump on the needles, but I have to make progress on the designs. So I am being an adult, and I have not cast anything but this on. Oh, actually, I did notice when I was doing laundry that my husband, like, all of his knit socks were in the wash, and I was like, well, if he's actually wearing the socks, I can knit him some socks. So I just grabbed some self-striping and did a rounded toe. So these are for my husband. And that is the wrong tag. It is 716. He didn't say, he said he wasn't coming home until he'd driven to all 50 states. 50 states. Did you explain about Hawaii? And this is cashmere. So my husband's been taking care of his cashmere socks. There's a big black stripe there, and there's a smaller gray and a speckled blue and whitey one. That was my adventure walk sock. I had to cast that on so that I would have something to.
Okay. And so they're not making his feet too hot or anything like that? Okay.
He's been wearing them.
Okay.
So yeah, the complaint about the sweater, the struggle is real. Speaking of getting warm.
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought that the whole thing you had made soulmate, or the Outlast ones, just because he was. I thought that the socks were too warm or something.
He said his sweater was too warm.
Oh, good.
I don't know that he's complained about the socks. Maybe he has, and I've just pushed it down, oppressed it. But all of his socks were in the wash.
Well, yeah, there's proof, right?
So
right
I was like, well, he could use a pair. He doesn't know that they're for him, and he hasn't seen me working on them. So
okay,
they could be like gift socks.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, so I just had a few small things that I wanted to show off, and then we are running long on time. You go 2 weeks without podcasting, and blah, 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 blah. A very beautiful, and I don't know how to say this, Charan Sakar? Charan Sakar? Charan Sakar. Little tumbler mug.
I got a blue one.
From Fran, so thank you to her. It's got a fun little knit print on it and some buttons. What are you using yours for? Odds and ends, or are you drinking out of it?
It's on a shelf right now, so I guess it's just sitting there looking pretty. I thought I might bring it to work and set it with my other. I have a little dish that I got as a gift that is from the same person, or from the same maker, 2 different people gave them to me, but I thought I might put them together so that they could live near each other.
So then Lavender Loon, I believe it's Sam. I was looking here because I was like, is it Sam? Because in my mind, she's just Lavender Loon.
Okay.
Gave us this wonderfully naturally dyed with onion skin mohair fingering weight, and it's dyed in Minnesota. So super, I just love the depth of color again on this as well. There's some darker areas and some lighter, and the plies took it a little differently in some places. It's just very fun. Rustic and fun.
I have not done anything that is 100% mohair before, so
it will be an adventure.
It will be an adventure.
And then B&B Farm Co. Buff Ultra Whipped Skin Cream.
Say that?
Apply liberally, inhale deeply, enjoy. It's so yummy smelling. So yummy. And it is kind of like butter. So like butter and oil. And it's getting to be that time of year.
It is.
So thank you so much to Sam for letting me have those, giving me those wonderful things.
Yes, and the same people gave us some bunting, some flags to go with our big thing.
Yeah. Had a few questions about that, and you can definitely bring those to the retreat, as well as I think you're trying to get at least Zombie Knit Apocalypse, which is 17 letters, right?
I counted 19.
19, sorry. It was an odd number.
Yeah, it was
close to 20.
13 plus 6. So 19, and I have currently 5, and then 2 that are already being posted to me. So
cool.
I still have room to add any of yours, and obviously if I get enough extras sent to me, I will discard the ones that I made and use ones that were sent to me. I want to get all 19 that I'm going to use in so that I can kind of arrange the colors the way I want them to, and then I'll start applique, put the letters on there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super fun. And kind of the thought process behind that was that we were just going to have a bunting that's going to live with the retreat, and we'll just add to it every year. And the retreat is just made up of so many unique and fun individuals, and the bunting will be made out of fun and unique flags made by fun and unique individuals.
Yeah. So I have one that's hand spun now, and yeah, it's I think that also, using the thread for when you created it and being able to talk a little bit about that flag, that way if somebody sees one, they're not necessarily going to be marked, because from year to year having paper attached to them would get kind of cumbersome, and they would get broken, faded, crackled, whatever. So we're just digitally, that thread is going to keep track of what gets knitted and gifted, and hopefully, if you've taken pictures of the item before you sent it off to me, so that you can state, or as you come, log it in the thread so that we can see, through time, who's knit one, and
you can't
add it to it.
You can't look at a bunting and immediately know, like, oh, that was knit by, and with this special yarn, so that the significance can be documented elsewhere, I guess.
Yep.
And then we've got the review. Woo!
Review. Oh my goodness.
Jibber jabbered on. But ultimately, I'm going to be a really bad reviewer of this, because I want to knit all things Colorwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
So every single thing in here is just glorious and fabulous and wants to be on the needle. But it's not all Colorwork. She's got some very fun cables and...
Before we get started, with Christmas coming up, I wanted to enable some people with the Juniper Moon Farms. Their Etsy shop has these adorable little sheep cutouts.
Okay.
That you can...
Do they come pre-coded?
No.
Okay. So
they come plain. So I'll show you what they come looking like. And I was enabled by somebody on Instagram. I will admit it.
I have a little sheepy guy that it's an ornament.
Yeah, and so this is, I think, similar concept. They just have made, you can buy a flock. So they come in packs of 10, and they have alpaca too. And so they come like this, and then I dressed them up in some of my hand spun yarn for fun.
Very fun.
And I just think that they're adorable, and they would make really good gifts for knitters.
The orange and gray one. He's like the hazard sheep.
So yeah, super adorable. I can't remember how much they cost. I think, like, to me it was like a good gift price. It wasn't so cheap that I was like, I want to buy and keep these all for myself. But as I thought about, like, oh, I'm going to have 10 of them, I'm not going to want to keep all of them, I can gift the rest of them, then it seemed more reasonable to me that it would be something worth buying.
That is a super cute idea for people that have knitters in their lives, or just people that like sheep or, that sort of decor.
Yep.
Kind of the crafty decor.
And I did, I don't know, so, and they come in their little sheep stash bag, and really cute, and shipped fairly fast, so I liked it.
And that was through Juniper Moon.
Yeah, fun. So yeah, if they have an Etsy shop, so they, I've bought their yarn before, but this is junipermoon.com, and I believe that you can buy the sheep on an Etsy shop link from there. Anyway,
yes.
On to Rachel Goody.
So again, in case I earmark the review at this point rather than before, all of the Colorworks, must knit all of the Colorworks in this book. Toasty 2 is the second installment, the second volume of Rachel's Toasty patterns. In looking at the layout of the book, she's kind of got a lookbook in the front with mention of where the patterns are further on in the book. So like if you look at this page, it says the kettle sing hat and the Solly hat. And you can just kind of see the big, beautiful pictures, and then you can go back and look into I really like, it's not color work, but I really like that kettle sing hat. Very cable-rific. I believe all of the patterns in here are for the fingering weight yarns. The fingering weight.
Yeah, they're all for the Titus.
Look at yours, pom-pom. Pom-pom-rific. And you are currently knitting the
Solly. Or Soleil.
Pronunciations aren't our thing.
So I am halfway through.
Very graphic.
So as soon as I can get to the next round, I did notice that I made a mistake in there, but whatever. Moving on. It still looks beautiful. And
is this another one where the stitches told you to do something different, or?
No.
Okay. Because when you were doing the brioche, remember?
Yeah, it's a one stitch, so you can see right here, this little divot goes down further here.
You could just duplicate stitch over
I could duplicate stitch over it if it was really bothering me, but I can't even see it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Where's Waldo.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I could just now, but I'm pretty sure after a month after finishing, I am not going to be able to tell you where I made a mistake. I'm just going to know that I did. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's written up as a 3-color option, but I had these 2 colors in my stash and knew that it would work out, so I went ahead and started that.
I really like the Hebden cowl and the Hebden hat. I think it's fun that the hat kind of has a motif on it, and that the cowl has that same motif, but then it has another motif worked in there. And so they're coordinating, but yet they stand really alone on their own. I'm distracted by your beautiful hat on your head. Another thing that I'd have to say about all of these patterns is while some of them are modeled on men and some of them are modeled on women, I do not think that they are unique to the men and women, or to the gender of the folks. Like you could knit your hat in a gray, and
mine is being worn by a man in a lot of the pictures.
Gray and red, and my husband would rock it. Although you do not knit hats for my husband.
So here's an example where they did a little gender swapping, in my opinion, because the woman is wearing the version without the pom-pom, and in the next he's wearing the version with the pom-pom.
Wow.
Because he is okay with the pom-poms.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that he can rock a pom-pom.
Mm-hmm. They're very slouchy hats.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't know if it's the orange in this burst with, burst with. But I just love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I like that one too. You definitely want the 3 colors in that one. I mean, it just really helps.
That pop of that orange pop is just beautiful.
And I will say, and I probably said before, like I knit the Toasty one. I knit my sister-in-law that hat, and it is super big because she doesn't have a head quite the size like mine. Not quite as small as Megan's, but she could She could somewhat literally pull it down completely over her head.
It's a head bag.
It's a head bag. It's a very big hat.
She was abducted by wonderful knitters.
But she's young and jaunty, and I think that she could pull it off. She could.
Signs that you're getting old when you describe people as young and jaunty.
Jaunty is your word. I just thought I would appropriate. So I cast on far fewer stitches on this hat, knowing that the yarn was a little bit thicker than the yarn that was called for in the book.
It's a nice size.
Yeah, and that having knit from the first book 2 size, that it was going to be way too big. So
cool.
I like them.
I do too. That's a nice size for your head.
Yeah. So I think that be aware that they are very oversized and slouchy.
The other thing that I really like about Colorwork with fingering is we all have fingering skeins coming out of every orifice of our stash to reuse.
There are those stash orifices again.
Yeah. Well, I did break the top of one of my stash lids.
You did?
Tried to stuff stuff in. That's how you know that you've got way too much. Something's got to give, and apparently it's the plastic lid that goes on top of your bathtub-sized stash lid bin. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I think that, as I mentioned with the variegated and the solid, you do have to be careful with how you combine it. But the nice thing about Colorwork is that you've always, or like partial skeins, right? Like you wouldn't necessarily need that whole 400, or if it's a beefier fingering weight, 450 or whatever. The other one I wanted to mention is this pad side. Looks like a very simple classic mitt with a little bit of flair. So if you were looking for a mitt to coordinate with your hat, that would be good to go. No color work involved. We have a kit per se to give away, the book, and some of the socks. Socks.
We still do need to do a review of the socks, but we will be giving away with the book, and then we'll be knitting with it. And then you guys can also, if you win, review with us. Let us know what you think. Maybe we can help augment our review of it with your input.
Some idea.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, love that. Yeah. So if you win, you must knit. No pressure.
Immediately, and then you must help us form well-formed reviews of the yarn. Yeah.
It can just be like, socks,
Loved it. 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
We'll knit again.
Yeah. It could be a very simple review.
Yeah. But definitely go check this out. She's got the hardcover books as well as which the retail suggested is £12.
That's a pound symbol.
So
let's see what.
A perfect selection of accessories that will fly off the needles and keep you toasty and warm. And it's just beautiful to look at. Be inspired.
Yes. We have the technology. Let's tell. Na 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 na.
Hopefully next week we will be recording at a regularly scheduled time, and we have another review for next week. So Miss Alexis Winslow, Knit Darling, has a new book, Speckles and Stone. I can independently review that as you mentioned how much it is.
So, looking on here, the digital download is the 12 Great British Pounds, but it does say that the printed book is available, and there's a link, and it will contain the code to then claim a digital copy as well as the hardback copy. So if you do want this book, you buy the book, you get the digital copy for free. Awesome sauce. That converted according to Ravelry is about $18.75. So, converted per Ravelry.
Yeah. And the number of patterns, did you happen to
It said 9.
Okay. Did you just say that and I missed it?
There are mitts and hats.
And cowls.
Oh my. I like the play with the pom-pom because I believe she had a video Instagram, the little video where she put the different pom-poms on the different hats in a little flip book.
And match.
It was super cute.
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun with pom-poms.
So that's another recommendation. Go follow her on Instagram. Very cute pictures. And you can hear about all of her latest creations. All right.
I think that's all she wrote. Goodness.
Bye.
Bye, Uvda.